Alright guys, so today I'm talking. Well guys, here we are. We're gonna swap the carburetor today. I'm gonna put the blow-through carburetor on. It should be fine to drive on, naturally aspirated. It should work basically the same. It's just calibrated for blow-through. So I'm gonna show you what it's like to take the other one off and install a new one. Pretty basic, not very much hookup. Just the accelerator linkage, fuel line, and I think just the air line on the back, and that's about it. And then I'm gonna try and figure out what accelerator pump nozzles I need for this guy. If you notice in the video where I recorded this, it doesn't have any accelerator pump nozzles on it. Holley, when I bought it, I think it had a 28 and a 31, and I took them off for something, I forget what, but we'll put some back in it and try and get it tuned up to the car. I kind of had it on previously, but it didn't really drive it, so we'll see if we can get it calibrated up once I get it installed. I'll probably just do a time lapse of me ripping off the old one because it's nothing too crazy really, it's pretty simple. Okay, I'll pop back in a second. So, got the carburetor off the car. Now we're just going to take a look at the carburetors and sort of see the differences and similarities. So, one thing that happened while I was taking it off was the carb spacer. This is a 1-inch aluminum spacer. The gasket on the bottom I knew was probably compromised because it's been there for so long. It ripped when I took it off. I'm just going to razor blade that off and clean it up. I've actually got fresh gaskets. These are Speedways. They're like dirt track racing gaskets. I guess they can have like up to 100,000 stick for certain race classes, so I guess this just adds more plenum volume in theory, and also acts just as a thermal spacer to keep the carburetor from getting hot. So, showed you guys the brawler the other day. As you can see, no accelerator pump nozzles. This guy does have accelerator pump nozzles. So the ones in this one are 35s. Yeah, you can barely see it. That number is just referring to the hole in the actual accelerator pump that it'll discharge out of from the accelerator pump. So this guy down here actuates that, shoots a squirt of fuel. This one still has some fuel in it because I just took it off the car. I tried to run it and let it dry out, but clearly not long enough. And then we're just going to slap this guy on. Shouldn't be too much difficulty there. Both 4150s. You saw me struggling with this little piece of like vacuum tubing, so I'll probably have to go get another roll just to make sure I have a fresh end to put in there. That stuff's just really nice to run your vacuum lines. It doesn't collapse. It's a good hard plastic. They use it for like air ride and also for like big dump trucks and stuff. They use it for the brakes like on semi trucks. Obviously theirs is probably a bigger line or possibly hydraulic hose, but it works just fine. The fuel log, simple. It's all AN fitting, so I just pop off the two, go into the bowls. As you can see here, It's all Dash 8 fittings with gaskets. I got some fresh gaskets for that. Debating whether or not I want to use nylon or like this coated stainless. Either way, those are the part numbers from Holly, so you guys can have them. And these are those thicker gaskets I was talking about. One thing to note with these aftermarket main bodies is they actually use 5/16 air cleaner studs. So usually it's 1/4 20, these take 5/16. So hopefully here in a second I'll have this guy slapped on. You guys can probably see that. And I'll probably just do a time lapse of the install and that. I just got to clean up that gasket off the spacer, so it shouldn't take too long. So one thing to note is I'm running 35 accelerator pump nozzles. You probably can't read that. They're 35s, trust me. I was running them on primary and secondary 35s. And sort of a specific thing to these bigger nozzles is once you go over, I believe, a 31, they want you to run a hollow pump screw to support the amount of volume that these carburetors need to flow through the squirter nozzle. Otherwise, you're limited by the actual flow through the screw or around the screw itself. So you run a hollow pump screw, and then I think once you go to like a 37 nozzle, you then have to run 50cc accelerator pump diaphragms. So you'll notice here that this diaphragm, oh, gas error, that's probably not good. All right, 1 second. All right, I think that's most of it. Wow, that still had a ton of fuel in it. Okay, so like I was saying, this has deeper accelerator pump diaphragm wells or housings. So that'll be 50cc. This guy, they're much more shallow. As you can see here, these are 30cc accelerator pump diaphragm wells. The other thing you can see here is, if you look here, these are annular boosters. So you can see that they're pretty small in terms of diameter. You might not be able to pick that up in camera very well. And then on this guy, they're significantly larger. Probably due to the fact that this is a dedicated 850 versus this main body. If I'm not mistaken, it was an aftermarket Proform deal. This I think was meant for like anywhere from like 650 to 750. So big differences there. Hence why the main jets on the quick fuel are 80 and 90 versus my Holley double pumper, just kind of with the Proform main body. This had I think 76 and 86 is where I left it the last time I messed with it. So still relatively close. Yeah, just subtle differences in how the main body's machined. So now I need to get gaskets for these accelerator pump nozzles. So I'll get those sorted out right now. Alright guys, so last little bit was just a little bit of vacuum line that I have back here. Got the needles adjusted to the point where it's not flooding anymore. We're leaking from the boosters. So we're just going to turn it over a couple times in case a little bit too much fuel got in there. Sounds good. Not happy. All right. One more try. Just a little rich. Uh-oh. Pretty good. I think I'm gonna leave it there and we'll drive it around and see how it feels. Carburetor's on. All the gaskets are on, no leaks. Checked for fuel leaks a few times. Had to adjust the needle and seats. They're a little bit high, so they would leak out of the booster a little bit, just dribbling. Didn't get too bad, so able to fix that. Had to run off to work and grab some airline. or ran out to the store to grab some airline. This stuff here, it's like a hard ABS, and they use it for like dump trucks and semi trucks. And this is just 1/4 inch vacuum line, pretty cheap. Works on a lot of stuff. It just uses like snap-in connections or push lock or whatever you want to call this stuff. It's a good pneumatic line. Other than that, everything went pretty smoothly. No fuel leaks, fresh gaskets. Carb runs just fine. I would imagine as I'm driving through the week and tuning it a little more, it'll be fine. It'll probably be a little bit rich because now it's got 80/90s instead of 76/86. So that might be a little bit tricky. I might have to mess with the jets. But being that it's an 850, theoretically there should be more air drawing through, but it only pulls as much air as it needs. So it might be the exact same thing and it'll be rich. I don't know really. But we'll find out, Okay. So I'll end the video off with that. Car's back together. I'll be driving. Hopefully I'll have the rings gapped soon for the other engine. And we'll keep it moving with that. So if you guys like what you saw, or if you guys saw me miss anything, hit me up. Let me know. Leave a like, comment, do whatever. See you guys on the next one.